You just tapped your phone and paid for a coffee in 0.3 seconds. 50 years ago, that same transaction would have taken a phone call, a paper slip, a carbon copy, and about 3 business days to actually clear. And honestly, the old way is way more fascinating than you'd think. Welcome back. Today, we're going deep on how credit card payments actually worked in the 70s and 80s, before the internet, before chips, before any of this. Stick around, because there's a detail at the end that's going to completely change how you think about card fraud today. So let's go back to 1975. You walk into a department store, pick out a jacket, hand over your credit card. The cashier doesn't swipe anything. There's no terminal, no screen. They take this thing, called a knuckle buster, I'm not joking, place your card inside, put a paper slip on top, and just slam it across. That mechanical pressure transfers the raised letters on your card onto the paper. Boom, that's your receipt. That's the record. 3 copies. One for you, one for the merchant, one for the bank. Now here's where it gets interesting. How did the merchant know your card wasn't stolen? They had a booklet. A physical printed booklet, updated once a month with a list of canceled or stolen card numbers. The cashier was supposed to flip through it and check your number manually. Yeah, a booklet, once a month. For big purchases over a certain amount, called the floor limit, they'd actually pick up the phone, call the bank, and read your card number to a human operator, who would then tell them yes or no. That call could take 5 minutes. Imagine the line behind you. Okay, by the early 80s, things start to shift. The magnetic stripe shows up on cards, that black stripe on the back, and suddenly merchants start getting these terminals. Boxy, beige, beautiful. You swipe the card, the terminal dials up, literally over a phone line, connects to the bank system and waits for authorization. That wait, anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds for one transaction. Customers standing there staring at a blinking cursor, listening to dial-up tones. And even then, the transaction wasn't actually settled. Merchants would collect all of their transactions throughout the day in what's called a batch, then upload the whole thing to the bank overnight. So the money still took 2 to 3 business days to actually move. The terminal just meant you could get a fast "yes, the card exists." The rest was still paper-era slow. But this was a massive leap because now you had a machine making the fraud decision, not a tired cashier flipping through a booklet. So what actually happens when you tap your card or phone today? Let me walk you through it because it's kind of mind-blowing. In under 1/3 of a second, your bank in Istanbul can authorize a transaction in a coffee shop in Tokyo. Here's the chain. Your card talks to the terminal talks to the merchant's bank, that bank talks to Visa or MasterCard's global network, that network hits your bank says yes or no, and that answer bounces all the way back. Round the world in 300 milliseconds. And your actual card number, it's never really transmitted anymore. When you tap, a one-time token is generated, a throwaway number that's useless to anyone who intercepts it. This is called tokenization, and it's why tap to pay is actually more secure than swiping your physical card. EMV chips, those gold chips on your card, took this even further. Every single transaction generates a unique cryptographic code. Even if someone got that code, they couldn't use it again. Compared to the magnetic stripe, which just stores your card number in plain text forever, the stripe doesn't change. Swipe it, copy it, clone it. That's why card skimmers at ATMs still work. Okay, here are a few things I didn't expect when I was researching this. First, the magnetic stripe was not invented for banking. It was developed for transit cards on the BART system in San Francisco in the early 70s. Banks basically looked at it and said, yeah, we'll take that. Second, in the early 70s, if your card got stolen on a Monday, the thief had until the end of the month before there was even a chance your number showed up in that fraud booklet. We're talking up to 72 hours of free shopping in some cases. Third, and this one still gets me, today there are over 600 billion card transactions processed globally every single year. 600 billion on an infrastructure that, at its core, traces back to a guy with a knuckle buster and a slip. The whole system was built on trust and paper long before any computer was involved. That's kind of incredible, honestly. So yeah, From paper slips and phone operators to dial-up terminals to a tap that settles a transaction in 300 milliseconds. That's 50 years of payments in 7 minutes. Next up, how chargebacks actually work, and why disputing a transaction is a surprisingly weird process that nobody fully wins. If you found this interesting, hit subscribe. I make videos like this pretty regularly. Drop a comment below. Did you ever use a knuckle buster, or were you already in the swipe era? I'm genuinely curious. See you in the next one.